regarding the shift, is to work with him. And if there is something to put in on track, you are able to work on 3 or 6 months looking for the best system. I think that's all the points. Is there something I missed? Okay, so do you mind if I call Chris? Just to remind you, everything we talk about it is strictly confidential. I will disclose nothing at all. Sorry, I knew what are your concerns, but it will stay with me until my last minute of life. So be careful, be confident about that. So I will call Chris so we can pass to the next stage. I will explain you how it goes. Well, I try to be more equitable on time managing for both of you. I guess you both took 15 minutes. And we pass to the next stage of our big diamond, that is the generation of mutual options. We have time, both of you, I spent time with both of you thinking how we could solve this original dispute that brought you here. Nothing of what is said on the private session will be revealed right now. So it's up to you to explore and present to the other what options have you foreseen to solve these two big subjects. As I told you, each one on the private session, I just put strike, like kind of foreseeing what is the worst scenario for both. So, what are the options that we can work in? In this stage, we just make like a brainstorming. Then we're going to evaluate if it's suitable for each one of you. Just be clear, free spirit to launch. What would you like to put on track?
Okay. So, Chris, I'd like to propose that we not list the strike action at Fair Work. I don't think that's good for the bus drivers. I don't think that's good for the company. I don't think it's good for the union. And we'd be willing to take that off. In relation to...
What do you feel about that, Chris?
That's fine for me.
Do you mind if I erase strike from the list? If I, as a flexible agenda, we can erase it down. So we live with the two main subjects.
So in relation with the communication, Chris, we would like to propose the creation of a policy which you can talk to management about and we could be involved in if there's some sort of agreement. And that policy should be around career progression for all employees, a policy around how drivers can be accommodated if they foresee a career moving from bus driver to controller to supervisor to workshop manager to office administrator. If that could be floated with management by you as an idea that the drivers are interested in seeing something like a formalised policy, we'd like a report back on that in 3 to 6 months. And if there's agreement, then we'd like to be involved in the creation of that. As one option. As a second option, if that can't occur, then some commitment around training. And whilst we don't want to dictate what that training could be, we're asking if consideration could be given to options for the drivers to be trained in management, the new ticket machines, or dealing with difficult customers. And
before taking the next option, is it clear for you what Bob has
Yes.
proposed? Do you have any doubt on that, the details?
Are we evaluating the options now, or are we?
No, just to see if you had some doubts on in general before going to details.
I think we can move on.
Okay, thank you. Do you have what other options do you foresee?
so the option with the shift and roster was
Sorry to interrupt you, I forgot something. So, just to resume what you have said, according to the communication issue, Bob has proposed the creation of a policy around career progression and how drivers can foresee their careers, and the ideas work together for a period of 3 or 6 months with the HR, the administration, the managing. And the second option, if it's not possible, I understood well, it's like alternative, okay, to take the opportunity to have training programs for drivers on managing, managing with conflict passengers, the customers, and how to use the new ticket machines. That's
yes.
Okay. Please, yes.
Okay. So
So you want to move before moving to the other stage? That I heard you want to pass to shifts and rosters. Do you have any option regarding the communication to be on the same page?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Then we can. It's not that we fix options.
Yeah.
Even in the evaluating options, there can appear new ones. It's
Okay.
very flexible. Okay, so on the shifts and rosters.
okay. So I acknowledge, Chris, what you've said, that you're happy for me to get an understanding and an appreciation of the shifts and rosters. I'm not asking, and if I'm not rostered to drive, I'd like to be able to, not as a permanent thing, sit with you and dictate how you do them. I'm quite confident, and I understand that you have a lot of expertise in shifts and rosters. I understand it is a difficult component of your role, that you've got to do it, but I don't want you to think that the union needs to dictate that. All I'm asking is maybe just for a short period, I observe how you do it, and once I'm comfortable, that will give me the opportunity that if the drivers question me, I with authority can say, Chris is a damn good shifts and rosters manager, and I have all the confidence that he's doing a great job in the shifts. And that could just be, I put a time frame on that of maybe, within the next 3 to 6 months, because I understand, I don't need to know about all the HR stuff that's going on, and there's a lot of sensitive stuff that you deal with, but it's particularly the shifts and rosters that I want to feel confident that the drivers, because they'll come to the union, inevitably they'll come to, to me, and if I'm not feeling comfortable, I want to be able to feel comfortable, and I know I can feel comfortable because I think I do trust you.
Chris, and do you have any option to release at this point on the how you put on track the shifts and rosters?
Yeah, I do think what Bob's option there is pretty viable. I was going to suggest an alternative, and that is to maybe think of different ways we can generate the lists and the rosters, so that we can maybe make it even more fair and more transparent and fairer for all the drivers that get rostered in terms of allocation of work. But I think that's something that we can work on, definitely.
How do you think it would be put in place this generate the different way to.
Or I think, you know, we can change up the way that the system generates the rosters now. So I think maybe instead of doing alphabetical, we can do, I'm sure we can work with some of the IT guys to generate random ordered lists. If, you know, if that comforts Bob and some of the other drivers who are concerned about.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that's definitely an option there, but that we can sort of tie that in with
Sure.
you observing.
Sure.
So, just again to resume, an option held by Bob was. I heard you say you were happy to work with Chris and this new situation, and you valorize his expertise on shifts and rosters. So it's not your idea to impose a particular way of doing the shifts and rosters, but you would be satisfied if you are in short term working with him, looking how it works, the process, just to feel comfortable. That's the word that you said, no? That would take between 3 and 6 months, and then if it's something could be improved, it will be improved. Chris, taking that option, has said that he thinks that you're pretty valuable, and he was able and open to generate different ways to create the roster. Right now it's alphabetically, but it could be in a different way to ensure the inequality between the drivers. Am I correct?
Yes.
So I think we're moving very fast in this stage, and how can we go to direct to those options? We have. I will write in the whiteboard just to be clear what are they. So we can work on how we put this in motion. So, you start with communication. You one option is to a policy of career progression. 2 hours?
1 R, 2 E's.
Yeah. Career progression. So drivers foresee their careers. That's one option. It's like visualize. It will be a period of 3 to 6 months. And the second option is to have training. I will let it generate to not close to a particular kind of training. On the shifts and rosters, HR plus a union, so Chris and Bob will work together on looking for the system. How it works, one option. One option held by Bob is that she just understands how it works in a period of 3 or 6 months too. And Chris brought here that he's up to generate different options. Alternative. Generate alternative either than alphabetically. No? Am I correct? But you upheld a principle that it's more equality.
Yes.
So my handwriting, kind of, I don't want to hurry or rush, but I think we are already to the end. So in the evaluation, are you up to these options? What do you think it's feasible or not? For instance, to work together, I think. What do you think about it? It's something that you have agreed.
I think it's something that we can work on.
I think so, yeah, I think I'm happy with
Okay.
that.
So I will go to the next stage. We will go and evaluate. Sorry, we will go to evaluate all the things, and then we're going to the final. So if I well understood, you agreed to work together in this policy of how we create and we organize the shifts and rosters. Okay. This would take. Are you okay with the delay that Bob has talked about? Yes, 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable time frame.
It's a good time. Okay. And could you please explain more in detail to evaluate clearly what alternatives that you have in mind besides the alphabetic?
Well, I think the system should be capable of generating the lists in a random order, as opposed to just categorically, not just sort of alphabetically. So, if we can do that for every time that we generate the list, and if that's something that comforts Bob and the other drivers, then that's something that we can definitely work on. Yeah.
So, we'll speak to the other drivers to see if they'd like the alternative between alphabetical versus random, and we'll feed that back to Chris. It doesn't need to be hard and fast, It could, if the drivers say they're happy with, trying a random.
Do you think in that way it would be satisfy the equality requirement?
Yes.
Okay. So if we are well understood, you're not want to decide right now if alphabetical random. The main thing in this case is that it remains equality.
Yes.
Okay. And communication, policy of career progression. What do you think, Chris, on that? Are you able to settle on that?
Well, it's
point?
something that I need to talk to management and my boss about, but it's something that we can discuss. I'm happy to sort of bring that forward.
And
happy for discussion on that.
Okay.
As long as it's not shut
all
down.
together.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I can say that we have a kind of approach that this policy at least will be discussed with the joint participation of HR, manager, and the union. I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Just to afterward I have to write everything. The options of the training. You would look for alternative, but
we've given a couple, so we don't need them all. But
mm-hmm.
one would be nice. Happy for discussion and report back in the next fortnight.
You would like to discuss afterwards the alternative, but it's not the main issue. That's okay. Understand. So we move to finalize the agreement. I think it's very clear that you have reached, and I'm very happy for you. I encourage to use this procedure more often. You have seen that it's very effective. So I will write, and I will, while I'm writing, I will read it in loud voice to be clear that I'm writing the correct agreement and I'm not writing nothing that you want. So the first part of the mediated agreement, it's the identification of the parties, the date in which it commenced, it will conclude, so I will write on the date of the day that we are on July 19. So, the agreement shall be on big buses represented by your last name was Chris?
Nay and I.
Chris and I.
Yes.
Chris Nay has agreed big buses union, represented by Bob Cooper, on working together on making improvements on the way. If something is not very accurate in English, please tell me. How shifts and rosters are made. During a 3 to 6 months period. And Disney we propose different alternatives to create the list, to generate the list. Alphabetically or randomly.
Yes.
It's okay for you?
Yes.
And Bob Cooper will consult. You will consult with the. Will consult with the union members. On which is better for them. To ensure a principle of equality. And on communication, the company will study with the union a policy of career progression. During a period of 3 to 6 months. I will read it very in a speedy way. So Big Buses, represented by Chris Ney, has agreed with Big Buses Union, represented by Bob Cooper, on working together and making improvements on the way how shifts and rosters are made during a 3 to 6 month period. And Chris Ney will propose different alternatives to generate the list, alphabetic or random. And Bob Cooper will consult with the union members on which is better for them to ensure principle of equality on assignments. Assignments, okay? Second, the company will study with the union a policy of career progression during a 3 to 6 month period. Is there something that I missed that you would like to add? So, would you need a copy to transmit?
Sign, yeah.
Okay, I will give both of you a copy of this agreement, so you can go and take it. Dated on July 19. Do you have a pen?
I do.
Would you like to sign
I
first?
would love to sign, thank you, Roberto. Thank you very much.
No.
Just here?
Yeah. I will make the copies. You can wait outside if you want for the copies, so you can both bring. Well, gentlemen, I am very happy that we have reached an agreement, and you have witnessed the positive aspects of the mediation. So I hope I encourage you to promote it and use it in the future. I think right now you have a great progress on how you communicate within yourself. So congratulations. It was
Thanks.
very nice to meet
Thanks,
you.
Rodrigo.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Thank you very much. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Chris.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks very much. I'm glad we came to mediation.
Thank you for your great help in this process. You are the leading artist of the process of mediation. The mediator is just a cast character. I mean, it's just in time, I guess. Did you?
No.